Daniel's been moving a lot of hearts for many, many years in spiritual centers and churches and hospitals all around the world. And he does great work, and so we're very blessed to have him here. Today, my talk is called How to Create a Spiritual Chain Reaction. It's kind of interesting. These talk titles are like published in October the year before. And so I never really get to choose them until, it's like I get to choose them, but I don't get to, time things out the way I would like to time them out. But for some reason, every time something's important, there's a great talk title that goes right to it, right? There's something happening in the world where we can apply what's happening in the talk title. So I'm feeling very blessed that today I get to talk about how we're going to start creating a spiritual chain reaction. Here is our affirmation for today. Here we go. I am necessary and have great influence. Really? Really? You don't say. How many people feel like they're necessary and have great influence? Yeah, some people. Now, this week I didn't feel like I had that. This week I kind of felt like I was powerless. But I forgot who I am and whose I am. And so I had to remind myself that I am necessary. Every person, every individual, everything is a necessary part of this evolution that we call, spirit evolving, humanity. And everybody is necessary, and everyone has a great influence if we can tap into it, when we tap into it. So I want to talk about how do we tap into that today? What can we do to make a difference? The spiritual chain reaction began with Source. The Source is continually calling us more and more of what it is through each one of us. So there was this thing that happened, and you can go to Scripture, you can go to different other theological books, and you can read about this. Something happened, and all of this thing happened. Right? This whole cosmos and this whole universe just sort of happened. Spirit moved upon itself and created itself. It also created us. So we are a vital part of all of it. We are a very necessary part of all of it. And what it continues to do is continues to create environments and situations in which we become more like it. Capital I. You see it up there? It says, and Source is continually calling more and more of what it is through each one of us. In other words, it's calling us to be a greater self. It's calling us to get more within and understand our place in everything. That's why whatever happens to someone feels like it's happening to us. We are individualized and unique. We are not individual. There's a difference. We are individualized and unique expressions of God. We're not an individual. And here's when I say that, I say this. That's because why do you think all the stuff that happens in the world has an impact on us? When we heard Daniel sing about earthquakes and we heard him talk about ambulances pulling to the side and a diagnosis, why do you think we feel the way we feel about other people? Because there's a connection to them. We may not know people in other countries or on the southern border or wherever all these things are happening, but we feel a connection to them because of that thread of connectivity of life. So it's not that we're not individual. I don't like they say, you're not. We are individualized and unique expressions of God. And because of that, everyone belongs. Everyone belongs. Each is connected to the other, and the one life that is the one energy that is life itself. We are all connected to each other. And as that individual part of humanity, we influence those around us, and we are influenced. Knowing this, we must walk the walk, talk the talk, and remember how necessary each one is to the whole. That's our dedication to ourselves. That's why we say we're changing lives one heart at a time, because each one of us is a necessary part of this humanity, and we are influenced, and others are influenced around us. That's the great part of it. We are 80% water, so we absorb a lot of stuff. We absorb a lot of stuff. The only unfortunate part is we're absorbing a lot of stuff that could be negative in nature as well. So we have to be really careful because we are influenced by our environment. I know I am. When I'm around happy people, I feel happy. When I'm around depressed people, I don't feel so happy. I try to make them happy. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But the reality is we are very influenced. And you know what? We live in a world now where we are heavily influenced by the outside world. I don't think there's been a time when we haven't been more connected in real time to things that are happening around the globe at this moment. So there's this energy that's happening, that's taking place. It's because of that connectivity. It's because of that awareness. So we don't want to fall into a state of disorder or chaos. We want to start moving into a place of order and balance. because it's easy to fall into the other when things kind of can be going crazy outside. All right? Did you ever notice the contagion of a happy person, one who is living in enthusiastic joy in living? Have you ever noticed how a happy person kind of like, they're contagious? Have you noticed that? I love that. I love watching that take place, where someone who's got this great energy, this charisma, they come into the room, and everybody just kind of wants to play with them. You know, they're like, can I be your friend? I'll talk to you, please. I want to get a taste of that. Their spirit permeates those around them, and the contagion of their personality influences their environment to such an extent that it finally changes it. I was witnessing in a restaurant the other day when I was having lunch by myself, actually. But I'll talk about that in a minute. So I was having lunch by myself, and I noticed some of these tables had this great buzz going on. And I mean, not like buzz, but they could have been doing that too, but they had a great energy going on, right? And that great energy, I'm like, can I sit with you? I mean, it was contagious. I wanted to be a part of it. We want to be a part of those places. I mean, conversely, we see other people where they're just kind of, ragged on everything, and you think, I don't want to sit at that table. That's just like a lot of bitter around one room, It's like, but we are attracted to that energy, and it's contagious, and it invites us in. I've been really working on trying to find the joy in the really simple things, and I have to tell you, I'm an addict. My name is Joe, and I'm an addict. Say hi, Joe. Hi. Thank you. So, and you can Google this if you want, and this is not an endorsement, because some things that are said on there that I think are pretty funny and quirky, and some of you might think to be highly inappropriate, but I have got this new thing called I Ain't Doing It. Google I Ain't Doing It and watch this lady who does these little 50-second blips, right? I cry. I actually have abs. I've been laughing so hard. Now, they're still hidden. They're still hidden, but they're here. I feel the muscle. So I've been laughing at that video. There's like hundreds and hundreds of these little 50-second videos. And this comedian, this woman has this, uses a caricature face or whatever that is, and uses social media. But millions of people have watched this woman, and you will cry with laughter. It is hysterically funny. And so it's contagious. And so when I watch this stuff, I've been sharing it with my friends that come over to the house, and I've been watching it, and we laugh. We were watching it in the office today. We were laughing. It changes everything, If we can get to that place and find something that makes us find a little bit of joy and happiness, it's contagious, and it changes the whole body. I mean, I actually feel like I want to go to the gym, It's like, oh my God, I know. It's a miracle drug. Amen, right? But it's true. It makes everything just feel better. I want to eat better. I want to laugh. It's fun. It's fun. And finding those joy-filled things is really important in the world that we live in today. Because so much is going on that we can wrap ourselves up in the negativity and forget to remember that there are really funny things happening and joyful things, and we need to attach ourselves to some of those. While a day may be rough, let's try to find some joy and happiness in something. And let's remind ourselves that it's there. And remember and go back and visit that emotion again. Does that make sense? Yeah. More than this, however, you need to remember that this joy, satisfaction, and sense of oneness must be translated into action in your relations with others. So it's not just about me feeling it. It's about sharing it. It's about me giving it away. Whatever you give away, you get in return, right? We talk, if you want to be loved, share love. If you want to be happy, share that happiness. And happiness comes back. So, together, I am necessary and have great influence. When others see the kind of life we are living, they want to know how they can have the same experience. There's only one life, and each of us is connected in that life. So as we start to evolve, and many of you may have experienced this when you started coming to the center and things began to change in your life. You may have experienced that people want to know, ooh, what drug are you on? That was supposed to be funny. Ooh, what drug are you on? Are you day drinking? What are you doing to make you change your life? What are you doing? You know, is this a cult? What are you doing that's changing this? It's because it starts to change your life, and people start to see that. And when they start to see that, they want to know. In fact, I want you to start sharing why you are the way you are. Well, some of you. So why you are the way you are. Because I think it's important. There are empty seats here, right? And there are people who could be in these empty seats. And in our first service, we have like half of it's empty. So it's like we need to start sharing this message of how you're beginning to change your life experience because you're attending the center. The chain reaction is it starts with you. It started with the big thing, and now it's with me. And now my chain reaction brings other people into that experience of experiencing more of themselves the way they were meant to be. Does that make sense? So, because we're all connected in that life, so I know that you know somebody that you can invite to brunch, and you bribe them. You say, after church, we'll go to brunch, but you have to try this just once. Just come just once. And you never know. Because if they've been talking about why you've been changing, why you have such a great attitude, this is why. Share that information with them. As we begin to live life fully alive, the spirit of us will spread like a contagion. So I want us to be members of the community that spread love and hope and not cynicism and anger. Because it's really easy to fall into that cynicism and anger, right? On either side, it doesn't matter. What it needs is I always thought of this center because we're in the center of Palm Desert, in the center of the Coachella Valley, right here in the center. That we're kind of like a beacon in this whole community where light comes out from this center. And I like to think that each one of you are the little rays that are going out into the world, and we're changing them one heart at a time. You know, we don't have to change big masses, but just one thing at a time. One person at a time, we're changing that whole experience. And when we begin to live that life fully and know that we are loved and that we are the expression of God, that's going to start changing the way we appear to the people on the outside. They're going to want to be a part of it, and it's going to spread. So put your money where your mouth is. A lot of people are always saying, well, what can we do? What can we do? You know, we always call, like last week, we were watching things happen. I don't remember what the issue was last week, but this week, there's another issue. And so it's like, what can we do outside of just pray? And so Reverend Laura and I were coming up. Laura, why don't you grab it? We're coming up with some homework for you to do. Because it's not enough that you want to complain or gripe.
Or cry.
If we want to cause a spiritual chain reaction, it requires that we do something. Here, wait, just then, I'm going to do a demonstration first. So it's just like this little lighter. You know these little lighters? You can stay up there. You can dance if you want. Let's see an analogy in this lighter that the spirit, the universe, has this potential, this flame. This is, inside of here is flame yet to be realized. Light, heat, yet to be realized. It's potential, right? But if I just sat there and prayed that it, light up, we'd be here a long time in the dark, right? It requires that I do something. In fact, it's not just one step, it's prayer and meditation to light up the light. The potential is there, but it only happens when I actually take some sort of action. Does that make sense? So it's the same thing how this works is how the universe works. The potential for all change already exists in the mind of God. It's already here. What it takes is some action. And what actions can we take? Yes, we can pray. I cannot meditate this light in. Anybody? You want to try? We have to do something to make it happen. So we were talking about how do we do something that is not political in nature, but yet sends a message to the people that are in control of a situation like this, like the ones that are happening at the southern border. So Laura and I and Dr. Edward and Dr. Kathy and Lewis, our centers are all putting together some actions for our members to take. So Laura, take it away.
So we have 3 postcards here to our local congressman and our 2 senators. And on the back it says, "These are my thoughts regarding a humane solution at our U.S. borders."
Pause there. It says, "These are my thoughts." These are not Joe's thoughts. We teach you how to think, and what you choose to do, you do with it. We don't tell you what to think. We just tell you how to think. So we didn't put what our opinions are of a situation. No, because each one of you has different ones. So these are my thoughts. But they're to the people Now read the second part.
So Kathy Ann Lewis posted this, and she said we could use it, and it just so inspired us. And what she says is that many of us have been affected by the separation of children from families in recent news. Our hearts cry out in pain because our capacity to love has expanded to include people we will never know. We believe in the principle of unity of all life. We are all affected at some level when harm is done to another. And so on here, for you to take home, is an affirmation. And it says, I affirm that an elegant resolution to the tragic events of the immigrant activities at the U.S. southern border is making its way through the minds and hearts of those in power in our government. Human beings are creative, visionary, and compassionate, and we hold in prayer that a creative, visionary, and compassionate solution to humane border control is downloaded in the minds of our country's leaders now. And so it is. Amen. And also here at the bottom of this is some wisdom that she posted of Dr. Holmes. And Dr. Holmes said, I salute the God presence in everyone I meet. And I know that as surely as I do this, the love dwelling in them responds to the same presence that is within me. We act in a unison of peace and understanding. So these postcards are out there, and there's a place for your name to put as a return envelope. Just put a stamp on it. And in the back for you, if you're so inspired, for a solution. This isn't about bashing anybody. This is about a positive solution, support in a positive way. Somebody said to me out there this morning, how come these are only Democrats? Well, it just happens that our two senators are Democrat and our local congressman's Democrat. We weren't picking any political side or anything, but just so that you know.
Yeah, these are our local representatives. So that's why, what I liked what Kathy Ann said here, an elegant resolution, and that those people, these are our people that we have elected in this area, are in power in this government, and they're human beings, are creative, visionary, and compassionate, and we need a solution that is creative, visionary, and compassionate. That's what this is about. So you write your feelings down and mail them. We just supplied you with the addresses. You do the rest. And I mean, because I think it's important, because people are always like, well, what do we do? Let's take the fuel, and now you get to actually do something. There's an action for you to take, all right? So moving on. It's not the stress that kills us, it's our reaction to it. Ooh. So it's not the stress that's doing it, it's how we're reacting to what's happening in the world and our world around us. So let's know that that's what's happening. And we can have a different outcome, because when we understand that that's what's driving us is our reactions, we can choose to react differently. It's easy to fall into the well of negativity and bitterness. And whatever it is, whether it's your health or whether it's a relationship or a financial situation, whatever that is, it's easy to fall into that kind of a situation. But it requires us to change if we don't want to react to it in such a way that it impacts our entire body. Here's why. Thoughts are energy. Words carry energy. Thoughts and words are seeds of experience and influence. And it is not enough to just think good thoughts or say nice things. We must bring those thoughts and words into action. It requires us to act. Actions speak louder than words. Action adds fuel to the energy of thought and words. This is just fuel. This is all potential. The universe there's this storehouse of potential. It's all just fuel waiting for us to ignite it. We keep thinking that it's going to ignite us. No, we ignite it. It's always present. It's there. My use of it is how I use it. If I choose not to use it, I will be in the cold and the dark. Does that make sense? So I really have to look at that and go, wait a minute, I have to add fuel. I have to add energy to the fuel. I have to take action to that. So we can take responsibility in every area of our life because that potential is there. We get to light it. Sometimes it takes twice. All right, here we go. Together, please. I am necessary and have great influence. Adversity causes some people to break, others to break records. A personal best. Sometimes adversity causes people to break, but then also some people go, you know what? I'm going to move through this situation, and I'm going to make this my personal best. I'm going to set the bar for this to be my personal best. Does that make sense? I'm not going to let things break me. I'm going to make this my personal best. So I'm going to see all this stuff as opportunity in my world. Instead of falling into a reaction of revenge, self-hatred, and anger, learn to catch the emotional reactions and drop the storylines. Ooh, the last three words are the punch, right? You got to drop the storyline around it, right? That's the hardest part. It's because we like to hang on to our story because we think our story becomes our history, right? But that's just past. If I keep repeating my story, it never becomes history. It becomes my current and my future. Because what I talk about, I bring about. I know. Revenge, self-hatred, and anger. Learn to catch it. I know when I'm going in. Look, I may be hungry and angry when I start getting emotional, but there are other times when I'm just flat out angry. And I know me, and I know that when I fall into this drill of anger or resentment or whatever, that it's not a good spiral. And nothing good ever comes from that, except me feeling more miserable and bringing everyone else to the party of misery, right? So if I know that about myself, the key is to learn to catch at the point where my emotions are starting to spiral. Learn to catch and correct. Catch and correct the course. That's when it's most important because if not, I'm going to cause a negative chain reaction versus a positive chain reaction. Does that make sense? But I have to learn to catch myself. Now, what I've learned is pointing out to other people to catch themselves. Most people don't like that. If I point it out to you that you're spiraling, usually that causes people to ignite even more. Yes? Yeah. I don't know many people that go, oh, you're right. I'm so glad you called me out on that. I feel so much better now. I've never seen that happen. Anybody? Anybody? No. Okay. So we know this is for us, our spiritual chain reaction. So here's the question. In what area of the world, life, humanity, would you like to create a chain reaction for good? Question goes to you, right? What can you do to make that happen? If it requires you to do something, if not, you're just staring at the potential. There's something you can do. Magic wand. Boop, 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 boop. There's something you can do. You get to choose what that something is, but you have to do something. Nothing, you just stare at the potential and wonder why you're bored. And wonder why everyone else is bored with you. But become a dancing little flame, a light. You will have all sorts of friends. Never mind. I'm almost done. I'm good, okay? Here. Life is always calling for more life. Are you answering? Or are you ignoring? The potential is always there. Are you answering it or are you ignoring it? And please don't use the heat of the summer as an excuse not to get into life. I'll do it in the fall. And it's colder. What did Daniel just sing? Why wait? Why wait? Don't wait till you get a diagnosis to go on a trip. Don't wait till something happens negative before you reach out and try to make amends with somebody that you're in conflict with. Don't wait for something to go wrong before you start fixing your health and making it better for yourself. Don't wait before your relationship falls apart before you start doing something to keep it alive. Why wait? You have the spiritual chain reaction. You know how it works. Mine is to this: begin with freedom, health, harmony, and wholeness. Those are my 4 targets this week. Freedom, health, harmony, and wholeness. In my life, and then how can I allow myself to share that with other people and have them see their freedom, their health, their harmony, and their wholeness. That's where I plan to go. Those are the changes that I intend to make. Shine Your Light is an example of this powerful teaching, and teach it by being a model. Learn how to use this thing. Well, not this thing, but learn how to use what I'm talking about. Learn how to always be the light. Be the shining beacon. It doesn't have to be huge. This is not a towering inferno, although it could make one. One little flame we can light this place up in a good way and not a good way. So how are you using that? So shine your light. Be the example. Last one. I am necessary and have great influence. And so ends your lesson. Thank you.
I'd like for all the ushers to please come forward up here, please, with your baskets.
And while they're moving forward, I've invited Daniel to sing a 3rd song for us today. And it's very inspiring, and I think you're going to love it too, because it really just ties everything we just talked about together. So all the ushers, please step to the front.
Yes, thank you. And those of you that are live streaming, please don't forget the donate button, and or you can text your offering. So let us say together our offertory prayer. I offer this gift with joy and gratitude. I receive freely and give freely, knowing the law of circulation is working perfectly in my life and the life of this center. Thank you. Okay.